Summer is here at Walt Disney World, and that means we've got brand new rankings for you of the most difficult lightning lanes to book at all 4 parks. Hi-ho everybody, this is Rob with the Air Scouts coming to you from the Magic Kingdom. I'm here today to reveal our latest Lightning Lane deck. So if you've never watched any of our Lightning Lane videos before, I would encourage you to check out at the very least our Lightning Lane guide for 2026, because we explain to you why it is that you want to book certain rides before you book others, just because they tend to run out of Lightning Lanes earlier in the day. And since a lot of folks don't know which rides those are, we created what we call the Lightning Lane deck for each park. It's just like a deck of cards, with the ace of the deck being the most difficult Lightning Lane to book, and it goes all the way down to the 2 in the deck, which is the easiest to grab at pretty much any time of the day. You can always find the latest deck at earscouts.com/deck, but you don't need to bother with that right now because we've got a brand new update that we're going to share with you right here. We're going to start with Magic Kingdom. As you may know, there are 2 attractions here at Magic Kingdom that recently got a big refresh. And so it makes sense that those have now become the 2 most popular Lightning Lanes in this park. Coming in the ace slot is Big Thunder Mountain. This is a classic Magic Kingdom attraction, but it's gotten a huge facelift. There's a brand new rainbow cavern scene and an exciting finale finish that was added in. And best of all, for folks who don't like herky-jerky roller coasters, this one is now silky smooth, kind of like the track over at Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. If you are looking for the wildest ride in the wilderness, however, you can sit farther back in the train and you will get a more exciting experience. But if you want to chicken out, sit close to the front and it is a pretty smooth ride. The king in our deck is the other recently refreshed attraction, Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. The ride vehicles have gotten a complete upgrade. You can now actually aim and point your gun. It's not stuck to the ride vehicle. The targets are actually a lot more fun now too, because when they glow green, that means there's an extra bonus attached to them. So it's kind of a whole new ride, even though the bones of it are more or less the same. People are really loving this update, and I am one of them, so I'm really excited to see that it hit the king slot this time around. The queen in the deck might come as a surprise to longtime users of Lightning Lane because it is the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Now, this attraction used to be relatively easy to grab. I'm not sure what's been happening, but the last several months, it has become increasingly difficult to get. In fact, for a little bit there, it was the ace in our deck. I think what's going on with this one is ever since they introduced Lightning Lane Premier Pass, there just aren't as many Lightning Lanes available with Multi-Pass, and this is a really popular one with families, with little kids, and they just can't get that many folks on and off of this attraction. The Jack in our deck is less of a surprise. Peter Pan's Flight is pretty much always one of the face cards. This is one of the most popular attractions in Fantasyland. It tends to have a really long wait, and much like Winnie the Pooh, it just can't get a whole bunch of people on and off of that attraction really quickly. So this one does become much more difficult to book, especially as the day goes on. The 10 is Haunted Mansion, and the reason I think this one has risen so much is because it's a Tier 2 Lightning Lane, meaning that folks can start their day with 2 Tier 2s, whereas they can only have 1 Tier 1. That means that the most popular Tier 2s, like Haunted Mansion, are going to rise above even some of those Tier 1 rides. And one of the Tier 1 rides I'm referring to is Tiana's Bayou Adventure. It's really surprising to me that Tiana is no longer a face card, but I think that has more to do with the fact that the attraction's having really good uptime right now. They're able to get lots of people on and off, and I think it's more that than the fact that it's become less popular. Number 8 is also a little bit surprising. It is Jungle Cruise. Now, this used to be the ace in the deck, especially right after the Jungle Cruise movie came out. This attraction had a huge resurgence in popularity, but as you can see, it's falling back down to earth a little bit. Really, from here on down in the deck, these are easier to grab later in the day, so you don't have to worry so much about them when you first get to the park. The 7 is now Pirates of the Caribbean, followed by a surprising 6, Space Mountain. This one has become the least popular of the Tier 1 attractions, and I think that's why it's falling so low in the deck now. But you can pretty easily grab a Lightning Lane for Space Mountain even later in the day. Tied for 6 is the Barnstormer featuring Goofy over in Storybook Circus. There's also a tie in the 5 spot with Magic Carpets of Aladdin and Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid, both coming in as 5s. The tie for number 4 is going to be Tomorrowland Speedway and It's a Small World. Number 3, Mad Tea Party and Dumbo the Flying Elephant. And finally, at the bottom of our deck are the 2 deuces. We've got Mickey's PhilharMagic and Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor. We are heading off to our next park, but if you want more details about using Lightning Lane here at Magic Kingdom, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring that bell, because we just recorded a brand new Lightning Lane guide for Magic Kingdom that'll be out any day now. Our next stop is Epcot, and we actually just put out our brand new Lightning Lane guide for Epcot. If you haven't seen that yet, we'll put a link to it in the description down below. But if you did see that video, this list is going to sound very familiar to you because it is completely unchanged from when we made that video, and that was actually way back in April that we filmed it. Now, the reason that's kind of a surprise is because there's one attraction on this list that we even said in that video we expected to see it rise once it got its update for the summer. That is Soarin', which went from Soarin' Around the World to its new version, Soarin' Across America, in celebration of the semi-quincentennial of the United States. I love this new version. I think it definitely deserves to rise in the rankings. However, as of right now, it hasn't. So we'll keep an eye on it and let you know in a future update if it does rise in the rankings. But as it stands now, the ace in this park is still Test Track. The king is Frozen Ever After. The queen is Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, and there, holding the spot of the jack, is Soarin' Across America. In that 10 slot is still Mission Space, and really, this is kind of the cutoff point here at Epcot. Once you get Mission Space booked, everything that follows below that in the deck is pretty easy to book even later in the day. Those rides are number 9, Spaceship Earth. In the 8 slot, Journey into Imagination with Figment. 7 is Turtle Talk with Crush. 6 is Living with the Land. 5 is The Seas with Nemo and Friends. And finally, in the number 4 slot is the Disney Pixar Short Film Festival over at the Magic Eye Theater. While I certainly hope Soarin' rises a little bit in the rankings, I actually don't expect to see much change here at Epcot until we reach the holidays. That's when Living with the Land gets its Glimmering Greenhouses makeover, and I expect we'll see it rise a little bit in the rankings then. But other than that, I'm thinking things are probably going to hold pretty steady here at Epcot. Our next stop is Hollywood Studios, where we've got 2 new ride refreshes and 2 pretty big surprises. The first surprise was that for a brief moment, Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets was the most challenging Lightning Lane to book in all of Walt Disney World. So ever since we've been covering Lightning Lanes, Slinky Dog Dash here at Hollywood Studios has been the most difficult Lightning Lane to book across all the parks. And for about a week there, right when it reopened, Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets took the ace. Unfortunately, it did slip down a little bit since then. It has settled into the king slot, but it is a solid king. I think it's going to stay in that slot for a while. And of course, that means the ace is once again Slinky Dog Dash. The queen of the deck is Toy Story Mania. This is one of those things where it's a tier 2 attraction and it's the most popular tier 2, which gives it a pretty premium position in the deck. The jack is Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, which is the same story. It's the other really popular tier 2 attraction in this park. The 10 is right here behind me, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and this is actually the big surprise because that means that the refresh of Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, where there are 3 brand new missions that are really cool, that ride didn't even crack the face cards of this park. It is still the number 9 in this deck. And to me, that's just crazy because this refresh is amazing. It's so much more exciting. There's so much re-rideability. You can have 3 different adventures. There's Grogu, who is absolutely adorable. I love this refresh, and I'm just shocked that it only made it to be the 9 in the deck this time around. I'm hoping that when we refresh this again, it'll be a little bit higher. But for right now, it's still the 9. Take advantage of this easy to grab lightning lane because it is, in my opinion, a must do. Rounding out the rest of the deck, the 8 is Alien Swirling Saucers. The 7 is the updated Little Mermaid show, The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure. 6 is Beauty and the Beast live on stage. Number 5 is Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. Number 4 is, for the first time in forever, a Frozen sing-along celebration. And finally, at the bottom of the deck is Star Tours. All reliable Star Tours. I don't know why that one's always at the bottom of the deck, because I really do enjoy that ride, and it also has a lot of re-rideability. For our final deck update, we're headed over to Animal Kingdom, and I will see you there. We've arrived at our final park of the day, Animal Kingdom, and this deck has basically just gone back to normal because the last deck that we had for Animal Kingdom was very strange. Some of the most popular attractions here, like Kilimanjaro Safaris and Expedition Everest, had fallen pretty far down in the rankings, and there were strange things in the top of the list, like Festival of the Lion King, which, while it's a great show and my favorite show in any of the parks, it's also usually pretty easy to get that lightning lane, so it was surprising to see that one ranked so high. But things are now back to normal. The ace, as always, is Navi River Journey. This has pretty much been the ace as long as we've been tracking lightning lanes here at Animal Kingdom, so that is no surprise. The king is Kali River Rapids, and because it's summer and it's hot outside, you would expect the water ride, where you may or may not get completely drenched, to be popular this time of year. The queen is Kilimanjaro Safaris, back where she belongs, in the face cards. Below that, in the jack spot, is my favorite ride in this park, Expedition Everest. And the 10 was definitely the biggest surprise this time around. It was Feathered Friends in Flight. Now, even though this is listed as a face card, you do not need to book Feathered Friends in Flight. This attraction, you never need a lightning lane for it, and honestly, I think the only reason that it made it into the 10 spot here is just because there are so few attractions here at Animal Kingdom, and that show does end pretty early in the day. So by virtue of the fact that there are no more shows available for that, it does run out of lightning lanes earlier, but you really don't need to worry about booking that one. In fact, everything that's going to follow, you don't really need to worry about booking. Number 9 is Finding Nemo, The Big Blue and Beyond. Coming in at number 8, which is a spot where we would expect to find it, is Festival of the Lion King. Rounding out the deck, this one is maybe a little bit of a surprise. Zootopia is now at the bottom of the pack, but really, when you think about it, it does make sense. This is a show that just repeats constantly throughout the day. It has a huge capacity, so they can get a lot of lightning lanes through that line, and it makes sense that it would be easy to grab it, and it would continue to be available all day long. Well, I hope you found these latest rankings helpful for your next visit to the park. Be sure to check out our latest lightning lane guides. We've already done Animal Kingdom and Epcot. Magic Kingdom is on the way, and Hollywood Studios will be the last park that we cover. We, of course, also have our Lightning Lane Guide for 2026, which gets into the nitty-gritty of everything you need to know to make the most of this service when you're here at the parks. Before we go, I do want to give a huge thank you to our Patreon family. If you'd like to join them and be the first to know whenever there are updates to this Lightning Lane deck, head on over to patreon.com/earscouts. And of course, I want to thank all of you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, help us out by giving it a like, subscribing to our channel, and ringing that bell. That way you'll be notified whenever new videos like this come out. Until next time, don't forget to think happy thoughts, everybody. We'll see you again real soon.